But they're the one big outlier in every single study. But if you look now, we have a 20 to 25% category. Here's '07. This is 21 years, right? 3 states now have greater than 1/3 now. Now, you guys are all smart, right? You wouldn't be here if you weren't. Is this possible through just eating badly? Absolutely not. But it is a big contributor. But it is not possible just by eating badly. So something epigenetic is going on to change the entire population of the United States to fall apart. Here's 2010, and the colors got messed up a little bit on this, but if you can see now, there's a whole new category called 35 to 40% in good old Mississippi, right? What? Oh, yeah, WVU, yeah. Okay, West Virginia's got it too. So, and this is actually in 2016, it's still worse, although in some states we're finally getting a plateau scenario. So, Economist Magazine, the shape of things to come with your big gulp. So here's how we're evolving. So here's Sudan, Africa. This was a great book called The Hungry Planet. So in food expenditure in 1 week was $1.23. Obese population, male to female, was almost negligible, right? Beijing, China, $155, so a whole lot more. But look at the foods, right? Do you see anything on there that looks, there's a little bit of bread, but even that being said, a little bit of bread and a healthy diet is not a bad deal. It's just the way we eat it. Here's Himalayas, $224 a week, and still very low obesity rate. Tingo, Ecuador, India, United States. Right? So here's our food choices, right? And our obesity rate is 32% for males, 38% for females, right? Fundamental problem. So why does this really matter? So if you're trying to be the best you can be after you're born, right? Nobody on the planet I've ever talked to wanted to be nothing. Never met a human who said, you know what, I don't want to be special. I've met people who said, I can't be special, but I've never heard a single person say, you know what, I suck, I should just sit on my butt and do nothing. Never heard it. Well, you guys are proving me wrong then. I think everybody wants to be great in their own way, and sometimes they put out blocks for themselves, and they don't let themselves get there. But unfortunately, diseases are doing that for a lot of people. When we're having all these problems go on, autism's on the rise, brain cancer's on the rise, diabetes, obesity, we can't be peak performers if we're suffering. So let's take a scenario. How about a student that eats unhealthy American food during school, gets very little sleep, drinks energy drinks or caffeine to stay alert, and feels constantly stressed and tired? This is all the teenagers we see, right? And you wonder why everyone's struggling. There's a fundamental problem. Colleges now are looking at the new recruits coming in and wondering why they're so dysfunctional, right? There's lots of data out there that kids can't handle the schoolwork to the same degree anymore. They suffer in a lot of ways. So we don't want to see that happen. We want you guys to be peak performers. So which one of these kids is undernourished? What about this one? He's undernourished? He's overnourished? How about those two? They're fine? They're beautiful. Well, what's the answer? All three are undernourished. This kid's undernourished by calories. This kid's undernourished by micronutrients, so he's eating food, just all the wrong food, so he's missing iron, he's missing zinc, he's missing copper, so his cells aren't working right. And those two, are genetically set up to not gain weight, but are completely undernourished because they're eating junk food all day long. So they're suffering from anxiety and disorders. So outward appearance has zero to do with knowing whether a person is healthy or sick. We know that if your outward appearance is you're extremely skinny or extremely overweight, you're going to likely have problems. But being skinny, but not undernourished doesn't mean you're healthy. I was this skinny 12 years ago, and I was completely unhealthy. I had a cholesterol going through the roof. My odds of dying of a heart attack were super high. My dad's had a double bypass and 2 stents placed. So I was on my way to check out of this world. My cholesterol was 260. It wasn't looking good, right? And then I started learning all about epigenetics and different things. I said, okay, I'm flip-flopping this. I'm going to change it, right? So, cause of obesity disease, here you go. This is a short list. So sugar, good or bad? Say that again. Awesome answer. Awesome answer. So sugar, by nature, is necessary. You cannot survive without sugar in general. There are some caveats to that, but in general, you need sugar. Your brain loves sugar. It's a great energy source. The problem is what kind of sugar you're giving it, right? Sugar turns to fat. If you give an orangutan in the fall access to a orchard, he's going to eat 100 pounds a day to gain weight. Why does he gain weight? Because he knows the winter's coming and he's not going to be able to lose the weight. I mean, he's going to lose all that weight. So when you eat fruit, fructose immediately goes to fat. That's a table of fat post-surgery. That's what fat looks like when you go in the operating room. And I've been in... No, when you go in the operating room, and I've done surgery, and you have gloves on, and you're in a patient's abdomen doing surgery, and you stick your hand in, when you pull it out, it looks like you just stuck it in Crisco. Okay? Fat is necessary to survive. When you have too much fat, it's very bad for you. It probably could have been easily. I don't know if that was in that case, but I guarantee you there are people that have more than that. Okay? So your liver is the primary location you process fructose or sugar. And the main job of your liver is to convert it to fat. When I started medical school in 1992, the number one cause of liver failure in humans was alcoholic cirrhosis. So people who drank themselves to death. You know what is happening now? One of the number one causes of liver failure is soda belly. So people who consume large volumes of fructose, their livers are falling apart. I have children in my office all the time now at age 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. When I check their liver enzymes, which is a mark of what their liver's doing, they're going to die. And you don't have to defend yourself. That's not what this job is about. My favorite thing in the world is I don't judge people, okay? My job is to teach, and you're going to choose your path, right? And so if you're going to be a peak performer, you listen, learn, and move on. If you don't, you stay where you're at, okay? And I've learned over time that the most important thing to do with young people is give them the information and let them get ready when they're ready. Because if you try and push someone, what your parents do, you rebel, right? So that's why you see some kids dressing in certain ways when their parents over control them, because that's their only control mechanism, right? But that's not healthy. So my job is to let you go, okay, you can rebel all day long, but realize you're only hurting one person, right? When my kids go out and do something stupid, I look at them, hey, buddy, who'd you just hurt? Oh, you didn't hurt me. At age 18, you're on your own, right? When you go out that door and you didn't learn to read well, I've already done my work. My job is to give you everything you can do to be the best kid you can be, and at 18, you're out. And my kids knows very clearly, at age 18, they need to get a job or they're going to school. There's no in between. If you don't have either, you cannot live in my house. And it may sound harsh, but I'm setting my kids up for success. I'm not going to have a child live in my house that's going to freeload. It's just not going to happen. And they know that at age 12 and 10 that they're going to move forward. I'm not stressing them out. I'm not putting them under any preconceived notions. I'm just saying, hey, in my house, is the food we eat. You don't eat it, that's fine, but I'm not feeding you anything else. When you're 18, you can eat all the ring-dings, ding-dongs, all that stuff you want, but not now, right? So sugar or cocaine? You guys know what cocaine is, right? It's a very, very potent drug. In South America, the coca leaf has 16 or 14 chemicals in it. One of them is cocaine. Cocaine just happens to be the most stimulating. In South America, they take the coca leaf and chew on it because there's 6, it might have been 12 actually, there's 6 positive and 6 negative chemicals. They counteract each other. Cocaine just happens to be the strongest one, so we synthesize out cocaine and give it to people, and it makes them super high, but there's no negative downs to it, so you can't come down normally, so you get addicted to it. Whereas the shaman down there don't get addicted to it, right? But the interesting thing is when you look at the part of the brain in the PET scan that lights up for cocaine, sugar lights it up even more. It's more intense of a reaction when you consume sugar. And there's an evolutionary reason behind this. Sugar, again, helps you stay alive. So it's a pleasure center. And the companies, unfortunately, that make food have figured out that if we consume fair amounts of sugar, it makes us very happy. So we go back for more. It's setting up a pleasure center. But again, I'm going to teach you that that's not a good thing. Sugar is good, but not too much. All right, this is incredibly important. If you learn nothing else today, learn this. 1 packet of sugar, right, is 4 grams. Okay? Oikos yogurt, little strawberry yogurt. How many packets of sugar in one little Oikos yogurt? 4. 16 grams, right? How many packets of sugar in a soda? 17. So if you're going to drink a cheer wine, okay, you poured 17 packets of sugar down your throat. Would you do that? Nobody would. I've never seen a single person who would sit there and pour 14. And maybe there is somebody, right? But nobody do it. But since you don't know, you do it and you're like, whatever, who cares, right? But now you know that that's actually a dangerous thing to do. What if somebody has what? So if you have low blood sugar or hypoglycemia, in general, what's going to happen is you're going to spike and drop again anyway. So it's not an advantage. If you have hypoglycemia, you need a long sustaining sugar source. So you want what's called a complex carbohydrate. So beans, okay, oatmeal. If you're a type 1 diabetic, that's different. That's different. That's type 1 diabetic, right? Type 1 diabetics have insulin that comes exogenously. You have to give it to yourself. So if you're giving yourself insulin, you have to track the exact amount of sugar that the insulin has. Otherwise, the insulin will drop you and kill you. Okay. All right. Extra sugar equals fat. Sugar content, here you go. 18 grams of sugar for a medium apple. 4.5 packets of sugar. 31 grams for filtered juice, right? How many people? No, you can eat fruit because there's a difference. When you consume fruit, there's fiber with it, which slows down the digestion, which slows down how fast the sugar gets taken up, which doesn't cause your insulin spike. But you drink this juice, there's no fiber with it, straight sugar spike, big insulin, big drop, you don't feel good, right? You feel good quickly, and then you feel terrible. Krispy Kreme donuts, 21 grams of sugar and carbs, 190 calories, 5 packets of sugar, right? How many Krispy Kreme donuts in a Frappuccino from Starbucks? 4. If you drink 1 Frappuccino regular, you get 4 donuts. Fat and sugar content. I know. So what do we want you to eat? We'd rather you eat real food, real fruit. In there, not only do you get good food, but you get all these great chemicals called antioxidants. You get minerals, vitamins, things that the body wants to function at its best state. When you don't get that, you struggle. Okay? Here are some symptoms of excess sugar and flour intake. Anyone suffer these ever? Right? I'm a huge fan of people experimenting with themselves. So if you want to know how you feel in a peak state, try going off of flour and extra sugar. So you can eat sugar as fruit, but get rid of any excess sugar and get rid of flour for 2 weeks and see what happens. See how you feel. If you don't feel any different, then you can choose to go back. But if you feel dramatically different, you can say, hey, yeah, maybe that's not for me. USDA, okay? Here's the food we want people to eat the most of, and it's a small bar, okay? That's our fundamental canary in the coal mine problem. Here are some inflammatory foods. These are the foods that make you less healthy. Excess sugar, polyunsaturated oils, grapeseed, cottonseed, corn, soy, soybean, sunflower, refined grains,